Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you very much for joining us in our very first Speakers Live presented by Summit Speaker Bureau. I will be your host. My name is Ching Yu Tan, and I'm the CEO of the Summit Speaker Bureau. And today we have the privilege to introduce to you what Summit Speaker Bureau is all about, the vision that we have together with the co-founders and for those of you who are joining us live right now, please type in hashtag live. Or if you're catching us on the replay, type in hashtag replay so we know who is joining us during this session. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ching Yu Tan, and I've been helping speakers expand their reach across Asia since 2012, together with my partners in Summit. And one of the co founders, will be joining us today. His name is John Chong. I'll just be bringing him on screen right now. Here we have John Chong. And then, of course, we also have another co-founder of Summit Speaker Bureau joining us today. His name is Simon Leong. He's also known as the Google Insider, and he has been in the speaking industry and speaking circuit for quite a number of years. Let's welcome Simon Leong onto our stream right now. Hey everybody, it's great to see you. And then let's see if we can just wave some hands to make sure that our stream is fine. All right. Yeah, Simon, it seems that your video is frozen a bit, but it's all right. Okay, so yeah, so let us just kick off this session. John, we've known each other. Wow, I think it's been far too long. What has it been? Almost 10 years or more.
Uh, since you are this young, yeah, since you
Yes,
are
yes.
so young, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So John is definitely a very experienced seminar organizer and promoter in the industry. Anyone who is in the industry, would probably know who John is, and of course, the Summit brand. And yes, Simon, would you just like to share with us a little bit more about yourself to our audience?
Wow, how much time do we have? Just kidding. Well, thank you very much, Ching Yu. Of course, a pleasure to be here alongside with my partner in crime, Mr. John Chong. For those of you who may or may not know who I am, as what Ching Yu have been mentioning in the internet marketing industry, they call me the Internet Insider or the Google Insider because I used to work at Google and I've been doing internet marketing actually since 1997. So over 20 years. Doesn't make me feel old at all. But I think what is more important is that we all share in the same vision and we believe in changing lives and helping people and making an impact. And so that's why we're all doing this together. That's why we are here. And I'm very excited to be a part of all the projects that we're working on together, and especially with the Summit Speaker Bureau as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon. So share with us, perhaps starting from John. How did the idea of Summit Speaker Bureau begin?
All right. So once again, thanks for having me and together with Simon in this wonderful show with you, Chinyu. So as you already mentioned earlier on, I myself and also with another partners of mine, which by the name of Mr. Terence Yao, and also together with Simon, as you know by now that we have already been in this industry for over a decade already. If we are to combine all our experiences, we are probably reaching the 40 years or even probably 50 years altogether. Now, the thing is this, since day one itself, as early as 2009, I myself, together with my partners, inner circle, someone that very close to me, especially those who are within this industry itself, we have been receiving quite a numbers of feedback, inquiry, and some demand, regardless where they are from, whether they are from Malaysia, from Singapore, from Australia, and many other countries itself. So now, based on that demand itself, they say we know the fact that if you can be part of the provider of this demand, we definitely see that there will be a great potential for this business itself. So as you know that since we have launched our Groove Asia not too long ago, probably 8 months ago, together with Simon. This way, we see together with Simon, especially, we have been talking days and night and days and night, exploring what are the things that we can do together, we can embark together that potentially to change other people's life, thousands of life all around the world. This way, as you know, if you just in case you don't know, Simon is someone that constantly come with new ideas almost in every second. To a certain extent, I don't really want to be involved in that too much of brainstorming. Sometimes that's why I am the one to say, "Hey, Simon, please hold first. There's too many things that ahead of us. Let's get things done first before we get something new." But to cut long story short, as you know, we have been talking almost every day for the past 3 years now. I think I kid you not. Even before the pandemic hit us, this way we start to meet each other, go for good pizza in Penang, in KL. We go for good barbecue, go for good steak everywhere that we can find all around Malaysia. And after the pandemic hit us, this way we think, this way we shortlist all the things that we have been talking about in the past before pandemic. This way, in a way, we shortlist a speaker bureau as part of the things that we want to materialize, something that we want to fulfill immediately. Which thank God, this way when Groove Asia CM come on board last year, officially on board last year. This way, we take that as a good platform for us to kickstart the idea, kickstart the business, or even to scale up our brand, our presence, and probably the potential for us to impact the life globally. So now, that is how it all started actually. But again, as I say, we Simon, he himself, he has been in this industry, I think, if I'm not wrong, since late 90s, and I only began in this industry in the late, I mean, 2009, and where obviously there is a certain gap on that. But again, it does not stop two of us to keep brainstorming, keep thinking, like keep talking to people and see, hey, what are the challenges that you face in your businesses as an individual, as an employee, as a retiree, as a student? Because as you know, Simon, other than running the Groove Asia together with me, we also have our own series of educations that we have already provided to the market for many years now, under Summit brand. Where from there itself we have that opportunity to be in touch with many potential, many students or many people in the market itself. This way, we always love to talk to them and say, hey, what is stopping you in your business? What's stopping you in your life, or even what's stopping you to scale your business to the next level? This way, some of the things that we have been hearing from them is definitely having the right platforms, or rather having the right channel for them to go through, in order for them to equip themselves with the new skills, with the new knowledge, with the new strategies, regardless of whatever topics that they have, which obviously they just don't have the connections to go through and directly go through the international speakers that is available all around the world. This way, because of that itself, it gives us more reasons to, as I said, to fulfill this and to provide these solutions to the market itself. This way, as you know, this is where how we started Summit Speaker Bureau.
Okay, thank you, John. So with that, Simon, share with us how is it that you decided to work together with John, to approach with him, and especially as a speaker, why did you decide to get into the speaker bureau business?
Wow, little opportunity for me to brush the boss's shoes a little bit, huh? So of course, when it comes to the industry itself, a lot of people, we see the seminar business as a seminar business. Now, when I first got started, I actually started to organize my own events as well. And I went through the organization. In fact, for many years, I was doing everything. I was the organizer. I was organizing my own events. I had multiple speaker events as well, where I invited other speakers from other countries into different places that were having events. And what I realized as time goes on is that it really is a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. And the reason why I decided to do it in the first place was because it was difficult for me as a speaker to find organizers who shared in the same value as me, whereby they really wanted to help people. It didn't matter what the bottom line is. They wouldn't care whether or not I quote unquote sold anything on the stage or offered my own programs or did any coaching. They would be happy simply if I went on stage and delivered value, right? Those were the kind of event organizers that I would be looking for and wanted to work with. Unfortunately, not too many actually existed. And so that's why I got started creating my own events and doing all those different things for my own communities. And as time went on, of course, it made sense for, and John mentioned that he came into the industry in the late 2009, 2010. Around that time was when we first got connected. And eventually, of course, he went off and did his own thing. And so, with that, the amazing thing is, I think for him as well, no real correlation at that point in time, but he, as an event organizer, he was also looking for speakers who wanted to just provide value to the clients, to the customers, to the attendees. If it were up to him at that point in time, he would organize a lot of events where we wouldn't need to actually sell anything. But because it was a very competitive industry, a lot of the speakers who wanted to be on the stages, of course, they wanted to make money, right? So he actually had the exact opposite problem as what I had as a speaker, except his is in the organization of the event side. And so it was almost like a match made in heaven, I think, as what we called it at one point in time, because the two of us, we had a very similar vision of wanting to provide value regardless of whether or not there would be sales that would be taking place, regardless of whether transactions would be taking place. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, we are businessmen. Of course, we want to build businesses, make money, generate revenue for whatever is the necessities that are in life, but that by no means was our priority. And so when we finally had the chance to sit down and talk together about the different plans that we should be doing in so many bigger ways than what we have been forced to do in the past because of the partners that we're working with. Now it's like we have the best of both worlds, right? We have a professional um, speaking type of organization and an event organization that was also professional in its own right with a lot of history in terms of success. And now, together, when we combine our resources, combine our knowledge, combine our experiences, as well as those whom we know, such as people like you, Ching Yu, right? Now we're pretty much creating what we call our dream team. If you take a look at the comments, we have a lot of people who are also from within our community. So we want to give a quick shout out, of course, to people like Adrian. Talk Talk is here. Ming Ru is here. We also have Michael and Karen and Teresa and Sam and Nicholas. I mean, these guys and gals, they are in our communities because they also share in that same vision with us. So at the end of the day, it's not just a speaker and an organization type of relationship. It's also those who want to learn from us. It's also those who want to become a part of our community. It's also those who share in that same vision to want to go out there and help more people, just like what we did. Except now, with all of our collective resources, we can do it together as a team. And I know between all of us who are on the screen right now, all of us who have been featured on the screen, and all of us who will be joining us in the future, there is no doubt in my mind that the best is yet to come. There's going to be so many amazing things that we plan to continue to bring into the market that has not yet been revealed, not yet even been introduced in the industry. It's going to be super amazing. And so that's why I'm here. I know that together we're going to be doing so much more absolutely amazing things. And I can't be more proud to be a part of this journey.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's a privilege to be able to work together with the likes of you, Simon, and of course John. It's we've been, especially with John, we've been working for so many years, and then finally the opportunity opened up. To be able to work together. So I'm really looking forward in growing in this venture together. So when it comes to the speaking industry, or people finding speakers, many organizations or organizers want a certain kind of impact, want a certain kind of transformation, transformative experience for their audience or their team or their organization. So my question to you, Simon, is it really possible for people and organizations to transform just by listening to a speaker?
Just by listening to a speaker, I think that if you want to be transformed, if you want to make sure that changes happen in your life, it can be a possibility, but I wouldn't say that it would be possible right away. At the end of the night, it has everything to do with your own personal attitude, the longevity of your commitments. And so, if you think that by sitting in a 1 hour or a 90-minute or even a half day, full day, one whole weekend session with a speaker or a trainer of your choice, that you feel like it could completely change your life, I would say that that's a good first step. It's a good first step because it is not the end. It should only be the beginning. And any committed speaker, any committed event organizer also know this, and they wouldn't just say, okay, so join us today or join us for the weekend and completely change your life. It might be the beginning of that journey if you intend to change your life for the better, but keep in mind it will be a very long procedure. It will be a process. It will be something that takes time and commitment and effort that you will need to put in. So all those people who came in, just thinking, oh yeah, maybe this will change my life. I invest this thing one time, I invest in the program, in this course, and I expect everything to change without putting in much work. That's why over 97% of the people out there fail. It's because of the lack of expectation, right? So with that, I always believe that in order for you to truly transform your life, you need to either come in or have adapted the mentality that you also want to be a life changer yourself as well. And so, with all of that, I absolutely believe that simply by listening to a speaker, listening to somebody preach to the choir, I don't believe that that is enough. You need to work on yourself. And again, that takes time, that takes energy, that takes a hell of a lot of effort, right? And if you're not committed to it, you have no passion for it, you're not interested in the first place, you will not get it done. That's why people quit. That's why people fail. That's why some people, unfortunately, will never become successful because they never adapt that mentality in the first place. And so, with all of that, nobody is expected to be born with this attitude and this mentality. You need to be sure that you work hard towards achieving that. And so, working on that also means working on yourself. Not only can you listen to speakers, you also need to do, right? You also need to apply. You also need to take action. In fact, even better if you transform yourself into somebody who transforms others. If you transform yourself into a speaker, into a trainer, somebody who has a positive influence, the more people that you're able to help, then the more your own life will be able to benefit from that. The more rewards you ultimately will get from that. And we have a lot of mentors. We have a lot of different trainers. We have a lot of people within our community who groom themselves into leaders. And we're not shy. We're not disappointed. And when we're not, embarrassed to say that many of them are also starting out. They're starting out as in they are not necessarily experts just yet. They're still learning, just like we all should be. Many of them are still in the process of changing their lives as well. But the difference between us and everyone else out there whom we might call the fake gurus, those who pretend to be whom they're not, and those who are just trying to make a buck or two at others people's expenses, pretending to people to be people whom they're not. Right? We know what we're talking about here. Uh, I think that the biggest difference is that we do not claim to be people that we're not. In fact, because we're a community, we do have experts who are in this industry, right? So that's why we say don't claim to be that expert. Edify each other, right? You have a leader who is an expert in tech stuff. Then don't say, I am the expert, I will help you. I know somebody who will help you, right? I know somebody who will teach you this aspect of the business to be a skilled trainer, to be a skilled event organizer, to be skilled in sales. We have different people in our communities that will help you to do what it is that you need to do in order for you to transform your life. So by simply listening, by simply hearing, by simply watching, that absolutely is not enough. So if you're here hoping that somehow your life will be transformed, I will say, great. It's a great first step. The next step and how you intend to reach that next level, well, that's up to you.
All right,
Yes.
just to add on to what Simon just shared with us earlier, also, right? I myself I definitely agree with what Simon just shared with us. The thing is this, Ching Yu, and to those who's watching us right now, I just want you to visualize this. Now, the thing is this: if you are to send a monkey to attend a motivation event, so you know what happened eventually will happen at the end of the motivation event. He will turn into a motivated monkey. So I guess the key here is this: it's not about only listening; it's all about taking action, as what Simon said earlier on. So now, to me personally, what is next after taking actions? If I'm seeing more comments in the chat box, then I'll probably share with you more. If not, then probably I'll just stop here. Where taking the right actions is definitely one of the key for you to success or for you to succeed in whatever field that you are right now. All right. So now it's very important taking actions while you're learning from any expert that is in the market right now. And as I say, taking action is definitely not the full stop of it. There is definitely a lot more what is above just by taking actions. So yeah, Chingy.
Yep. And yeah, we have Nicholas always sharing hashtag take action. Yeah, it's important for us to take action and follow through. Definitely a speaker, a trainer can come into the picture to give that motivation, give that inspiration, give all of that information. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is to take action. And I suppose that's one of the reasons why speakers like yourself, Simon, you have lasted throughout all of these years is because you share what's real. You tell it as it is. You don't sugarcoat thing where you tell people, oh, I've got this magic red button. All you need to do is to buy my magic red button, press it, sit back and relax. You don't have to do a single thing, right? And yeah, definitely to last in this industry, one has to really care for their clients to make sure that they actually get the results. And that's one thing I highly respect about John is that throughout all of these years with all the speakers that he has worked with and also working with me and the speakers that I brought in, he has always kept our clients at the top of mind. The clients has to be first. They have to be happy. Whatever needs to be fulfilled, whatever promises made, it has to be fulfilled, right? And that's a level of integrity that I feel is very important in this industry, and continuing moving forward. So definitely, if you're a speaker or an organizer out there who resonates with these sorts of values, we would like to work with you, right? And yeah, just to share one thing, we don't work with just anyone, just for a quick buck. No, we really want to transform lives and organizations all over the world in a sustainable manner where it's win-win-win for all. So with all of these transformations, events, and seminars that you have been in, Simon, and maybe John as well, you know, could you share an example of a transformation that you've seen personally, or you've personally experienced, or maybe you've even helped facilitate and bring people through? Starting from you, Simon.
Sure. Examples of transformation. Oh, here's a great one. Well, there was a gentleman that I, have known for quite a while, and this guy, when I first met him, wasn't really talkative, not very social. Somebody who, is a little bit reserved, but very good at what he's doing. And over the years, have always been somebody who wanted to take his own skills and challenge himself, go to the next level. And really, that's the first step, right? Is to have the courage to do what you've always wanted to do and never really had the opportunity to test yourself until, let's say, you make the commitment, right, to want to make that jump. And one day he did. I mean, he cut his hair, he went on stage, and he basically became one of the top speakers in one of the top event organization companies in the world. And when you're thinking about all the different people who would be featured, in a lot, stop laughing, in a lot of the different organizations out there, you would know that people are, of course, only wanting to work with the best. And to become the top salesperson in that particular industry for that particular company is quite an accomplishment, right? But then I'm sure you would agree that when it comes to once reaching the top, as what we talked about yesterday in one of our private meetings, right? Unless there is yet another ladder, another expansion, another level for you to go, there would then be nowhere to go except for down. So with that, this person challenged himself to additional things, right? The pandemic hit, new challenges came around, and so with all these different challenges also came brand new opportunities, opportunities for you to go beyond the stage and go on live on camera and doing it in different languages. Now, of course, the reason why we say stop laughing is because the gentleman that I'm talking about is the gentleman that you see right here below me. Okay, his name is John, and of course, he became the top sales for Summit. Crazily enough, compared to just some of the top speakers and salesmen in the world, salesmen and saleswomen in the world, in whatever they've been doing, who've been doing it for years. But what I was progressing into is that, of course, when you are a speaker on stage and you are able to fight your fears to be that public speaker, one thing that we learned is that when we transitioned online and we started doing live streams, and it's not just the traditional webinar, which a lot of people do, right? They do webinars, they talk online, they create videos with the intention to edit them and to make sure that, if things go wrong, they can just cut it out and things, whatever else, and they don't even turn on the camera, right? It's easy for you to just simply do a recording of the video. So when we talked about the expansion of our different projects, we talked about Summit, we talked about Groove Asia, now we're also talking about Speaker Bureau as well. Well, for weeks, actually for months, we've been talking about expanding our lives into different languages. And it wasn't until recently that we actually nailed down a date, nailed down a time, and coincidentally, or maybe not, that time and date was just a few hours ago, where Mr. John would actually make his debut live in front of an audience into our community in the Malay language. Now, of course, for him, it was a little bit challenging. He was apprehensive. He was nervous. He was wanting to practice up until the last minute. In fact, up until a couple of days ago, I hope you don't mind if I'm sharing this, Mr. John, but he was actually planning on making it pre-recorded. He's like, I need to work up my confidence, man. I gotta be able to, work my way through half that air time, half that flight time, practice, practice, practice until I'm comfortable. And I basically said that day for perfection is never gonna come. There will be times, and I've been doing lives now for years. I've been speaking on the stage for 15 years plus around the world, done thousands, literally thousands of sessions. There will be times that I will still feel nervous. There will still be times when, for whatever reason, I'm not comfortable or I'm not at 100%. There will be times where that will happen. And if you're concerned about potential issues like technology, don't know where to click, you need to practice, you need to do this, you need to do that, you're not familiar with the technology, the system, the software, that's what the team is there for. And so, all of you who are watching this right now should be happy and proud to know that just about 2.5 hours or 3 hours ago, Mr. John not only made his premiere on the live stage, not only doing a live stream, not only doing it in the Malay language, but it was not even pre recorded, it was live in real time. And so, with that, of course, I was in the background. Ching Yu was in the background, and another one of our team members, Mr. Sam, we were all in the background supporting him, clicking on stuff for him, showing him where things need to go. And that really is the beauty of the team. That's how you transform. You cannot transform by yourself. You will not transform alone and with the mentality that I will wait until this time, until I'm good enough, until I'm comfortable before you do anything. If you're going to wait until that perfect time will never come. and you will never transform. So if you want to transform and turn yourself to the next level, take yourself to the next level, take your own skills and challenge yourself to get to the next level. That best time always has been yesterday, but the next best time is right now. So with that, I hope that it is a little bit of an inspiration that just because we have years of experience in what we do, it doesn't mean that there isn't any new things to learn. In fact, me, myself as well, continue to learn every single day. So does John, so does Xingyu, so do all of our partners, all of our leaders, all of our mentors. It's just a part of your life journey. The day that you feel like you're going to stop learning, that you're so confident that you feel like you know everything there is to know, that is the day that you start to go down. That is the day that you've reached that top. Now there's nowhere to go except for down, and you have stopped growing. So with that, I think that for you to continue to transform yourself is to challenge yourself. Challenge yourself and don't look anywhere else for inspirational stories. In due time, I'll share some of mine. Qing Yu will probably share some of his. Many of us, in addition, and John, that was just one example of one hurdle that he jumped through very recently as just a few hours ago. And backstage right after was like, oh my gosh, so glad that was over with. But I'm sure you'll all agree, he did absolutely amazing, right? So with that, let's give Mr. John a huge round of applause. You did a great job, Mr. John. I'm sure there will be plenty more transformational challenges and success stories to come.
Yeah, yes, yeah, and definitely John is a transformational leader, and I think like what you mentioned, even like Sam, who has been working together with John and Summit for a very long time, he has shared that throughout the pandemic, when all the companies are struggling and all of that, John stepped up to adapt to the situation, find new ways, find innovative ways, and kept pushing forward. And then it's all about leading by example, and John definitely leads by example. So so John, with your experience in this industry, other than transformation that you see in people, through the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that you have crossed paths with, do you have any personal stories of transformation, or maybe of organization transformation, that you would like to share with us?
All right, thanks for the question, Yu. But before I share with you some of my experiences in the past or even the most recent one, I think it is very important for us to know tonight's show is not about John Chong, but I truly appreciate all your supports, all your love, all your guidance, especially to people like Yu, Sam, and also Simon, and not forgetting all the mentors that we have within the community itself. So for that, I just want to say once again, thank you very much. But coming back to the real things, which is about the Summit Speaker Bureau, right? Now, coming back to your question, uh, let me just share with you some of the things, a good thing that happened to myself and Simon, not necessarily too long ago. That was 2021, I think. Which, as you know, that before we even officially launched Groove Asia, as you know that I myself have been working with Simon under a Summit brand where we promote him all around the world, virtually, obviously, during the pandemic itself. So now, you know that most people today, they don't really buy your stuff on the spot, right? So they will probably take some time to do their own due diligence. They'll take some time to ask their significant others, or they'll take some time, or probably their own excuse not to take actions immediately. It definitely requires a lot of efforts to reach out to them to make sure that they do the right decisions when it comes to whether or not they are buying or they are not enrolling to the program itself. So now, let me just share with you one of the quite recent things that happened within Summit, where I remember it even until today, because I myself closed the sales in a way, which it took me almost 2 weeks to close the sales. But let me just summarize what happened throughout the 2 weeks itself. Now, the next day, immediately the next day, after she attended Simon webinar, where she's about to make the payment the following days, but just because she enrolled for the payment, which cost $1,000, right? Where there was a very sour incidents happened between she herself and her husband, where, to cut long story short, in the eyes of her husband, he said that we are not in the positions, we are not afford to pay for this program because thousands of dollars is equivalent to a lot of money in our own currency. And during this, at the current pandemic situations, we have to really be mindful in terms of how do we spend the money. So just because of that conflict between the husband and the wife, where the wife very persistent and say, I need to change my life. I want to go for these programs. Nothing will change me. But on the other hand, the husband keeps saying that no, we are not afford to do that. To cut long story short, just because of the decisions that she has made to enroll, they almost get a divorce. All right, to that extent. So now I was aware about all the scenario is because I keep follow up with her, not on their payment so much, but rather is to making sure that uh, we don't break the family just because of the educations that we want to provide to the market. This way, we turn into friends where we chat along the way. So to cut long story short, now uh, in between before while they are still quarreling, I did share quite a fair bit of information about Simon. Some of the video that I have about Simon, I'll share it, I have shared to the husband itself. This way, from that day onwards, I have that personal connection with the husband. This way, thank God, finally, he was convinced. Then we became friends today, and you know what? And just because of that extra mile that we have taken in terms of making sure that all the clientele they are in the good hands, and not only that, they are truly convinced with whatever programs that they are about to enroll. In this case, we are talking about Simon, right? So, long story short, after the program itself, as you know by now, that Simon, she is someone that probably one of the best, one of the top a trainer that able to guide you on the CEO aspect or CEO topic itself. So to cut long story short, today she quit her full-time job, and even her husband is about to quit her full-time job, and they are making enough passive money from their YouTube channel, and she's from Thailand. And just for a small accomplishments, something like this, it is not only to encourage me. That's why, as I said just now, it definitely one encourage us myself together with Simon to go beyond just beyond Southeast Asia, but instead reach out to as many life as possible globally. So I guess with that quick story that I just shared with you just now, that is probably one of the most recent beautiful story that I myself experienced, and together with Simon, which obviously Simon sometimes he can be overly too humble. He don't really share things too much, but behind the scenes, that's where we celebrate every small success. How do we celebrate? Ask me, Ching Yu.
How do we celebrate?
Pizza. So
Yeah.
that's my story. That's my answer to your question.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, yeah, definitely miss our pizza sessions already. You know, we'll
We should
with
invite George. Do you know that George, she loves pizza also?
now we know. Yeah, can't wait for all of the borders and everything to get back somewhat to normal. So yeah, so yeah, definitely. Simon is definitely an expert when it comes to SEO, and helping people generate additional income streams via the internet. And one thing you mentioned, John, is creating impact at the scale and transformation at the scale. Could you share with us as an organizer? I believe one of your biggest events was, of course, with Sir Richard Branson in Vietnam, with I believe it's 7,000 people. What did it take as an organizer to make that happen?
Uh, it's a bit of how should I say? It's all started from how open should I actually now? Let me just share with you. Let me just share with you the summary of the real story behind Richard Branson's, right. I myself, I love challenges. to a certain extent, I can very impulsive when it comes to making certain decisions. So now, when Summit just started back in the day, right? I kid you not when I say I literally knock people door and say, "Hey, I'm John. I just have this new Summit where I have this dream. I want to do this. I want to do that. Eventually, I want to work with you. Can you help me or can you support me by speaking at my event?" You know what? Out of 10 people that I met, probably 9.5 of them say, "Hey, you know what? I think it's not the right time for me to talk to you. It's not the right time for me to work with you now until you can produce some results." So now, just because of that experience that I had, it never bring me down, but rather it brings me up to the next level where it gives me that uh, 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 inner power to commit to something that eventually I want to prove to myself and especially to my team. Never been my intention to prove to whoever that have declined my offer in the first place. It never been my intention, but it's more towards like, hey, I think in order for you to succeed in this industry, you have to do something crazy. You have to really prove it to everyone. And what's more important, you prove it to yourself, prove it to your team that have been following you since day one through thin and thick, right? So now, because of that itself, right, that mentality that I have, so uh, uh, a year and a half before that, I did approach another keynote speaker from Singapore and say, "Hey, Mr. So and so, I think today I know how to run event. Would you want to speak? Would you like to speak at my event?" Say, "No, John, no. Whatever you have done in the past 3 years, 4 years is still not impressive enough. I need to see more. Then only I probably say yes to your offer." Then, true enough, I took that as a challenge. I say, "Hey, went back to Terrace and say, hey, you know what? Someone challenged me again today. Do you dare to take on the challenge to do something crazy, to make some drastic decisions in the next 24 to 48 hours from now?" So we brainstorm, and then we brainstorm hours by hours, and from there, we 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 make a decision to say that, hey, let's do something that have not been done in the Vietnam market in the past, and to bring someone that have not been invited to Vietnam. So after that long process of thinking, obviously we shortlisted Richard Branson, and not too long after that decision has been made, this way we right away engaged Richard Branson to be part of the events, and it took us a year and a half to make sure that all the coordinations, all the arrangement, all the P&L, all their cash flow, all their money management, and probably the risk management to be in the pipeline, so that we know that we will be profitable by end of the day. So now, just based on that itself, right, the Richard Branson experience that we had in the past, which is 2015, that event itself, not only that it brings us to the next level when it comes to this industry, but I think since that day itself, I don't really need to knock other people's door and say, "Hey, do you want to speak at my events?" And even until now, people always come to us, come to you, come to Simon and say, "Hey, how can I be part of Summit? How can I speak for Summit?" So I think that is definitely the beauty of when you have that skill, you have that commitments to do outside of your comfort zone. This way, not only that you'll be able to convince, but to persuade, but more importantly, to uh, to have that confidence, not necessarily only to impact life throughout the world, but I think more importantly to have that, to achieve that, as what people say, have that a certain level within the industry itself. As you know, running an event, it can be easy, but it can be simple, but definitely not easy to a certain extent. So there are organizers in the market. They organize the event in the first 2 months. Then on the fourth month, you don't see them anymore. But unlike us, not only that we keep scaling up to the next level, but more importantly, we keep it humble. We don't really want to be overly arrogant and keep trying to be someone that keep telling all the world, say that, "Hey, I'm there, I'm there, I'm there," but instead just keep humble and just keep going and keep moving forwards. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And yeah, so yeah, definitely. I think one thing pointed out from that story is definitely perseverance, but at the same time having that strategy in place with the right team, to drive towards that goal. And at the end of the day, you've really identified, one of the reasons why people should consider hiring speakers like Sir Richard Branson as well is to bring your personal brand, your organization's brand upwards, where you don't have to go around knocking people's doors. They will come to you naturally,
Yeah.
and establish yourself as an expert and authority in the industry. So, do you also intend to provide organizational services as well? For people who think, oh, all of this organization, like what you mentioned, can be a headache.
Yes, the answer is definitely yes, because as you know that even until today, I myself, Simon Ching Yu, we have been receiving inquiry from our potential clientele from all around the world, and yeah, of course, not only that, we want to provide that service to our potential clientele, but I think more importantly is it's important for us to know whether or not their mission, their visions, they are aligned to what we have also, because at the end of the day, as what you mentioned just now, money will probably never enough for all of us. But I think what's more important is what's enough, and how do we really change the world together in a positive manner, rather than just do it for the sake of making money. I think that is, at least that is my own philosophy in life, where money will never enough. But I think at the end of the day, it is very important for us to be selective in terms of to understand whether or not, whenever we are providing such services, or even helping them to organize events, apart from making money out of it, making margin out of it, I think what is also important is whether or not their values are aligned to us. Because as you know, recently, not very long ago, I just shared this with Simon, where we are on the same page. Which, to cut long story short, uh, there are many organizations in the market where you cannot deny, I cannot deny, that they are scammers. They don't have a real integrity. Yeah, they probably have that cash to engage you or engage us and say, hey John, I know that you're good in events, I know that you're good in funnel, I know that you're good in convincing people into your funnel, and I want to pay you X amount of millions. And at the end of the day, I want them to be part of whatever I have to provide. And if you go deeper into it, and if you really understand their business model itself, if you know the fact that they are not the right one, they don't have this thing called integrity in business, I'll rather not to make that millions of margin or millions of revenue. I'll probably say, thanks for your offer, but I guess I'm not in the position to take up the offer. All right. So now I think, just to add on to what I just shared just now, things like this will happen again and again and again and again. This is why myself, Simon, and you yourself, Ching Yu, you know that we are very selective in terms of like who do you want to work with and how do you want to work with them. If they are a real business, a legitimate business, something that bringing a positive to the world. I think today we are living in the such a negative world already, right? So I think let's do our small portion in this life to provide a positive aura and energy, instead of putting out a negative one just because you want to make money out of it. Yeah, Simon, you have anything to add on to that?
I think that was perfectly spoken. In fact, one thing that I actually pride ourselves in our communities is we stay out of any negativity, anything political, anything that is crushing humanity in the outside world. We see our communities as an escape. Primarily because when we first started the whole Groove Asia thing and we started to expand into Asia, it was around the time where, of course, people like us are kind of looked down upon, right? In my home country, in U.S., there were a lot of things that were going on at that point in time, where my friends, people who were related to me, my family, we they experienced different kinds of obstacles that had never been experienced in the history of our lifetime, in terms of racism, in terms of bigotry, all because of the way that we look. And of course, as time went on, then we also welcomed others into our community who basically are experiencing very similar kinds of oppression in their own rights. So, what I really feel strongly about our community is that not only is it an escape from all the negativity in the world, but it's an opportunity for us to create something valuable, something rewarding that proves that despite either being in the minority or even if you are in the majority, we are all equal and we all have the same kind of potential. We have the same kind of resources. We have the same kind of ability to create the lifestyle that we know that internally we can create despite, not because of what's happening outside, but despite what's happening outside, in spite of lockdowns, in spite of prejudice, in spite of how the other world, other people around the world who may not be like us, how they're looking at us, it doesn't matter because internally we all look at each other in the exact same way. And that is as friends, cliche enough, as family, as people that we would share meals with. We would share. I mean, if you drink, then we share beer. If you eat meat, then we share a nice dish of, pepperoni pizza or whatever John likes to put on his pizza toppings, right? But regardless of the case, this is that escape. This is our own community. This is our own family where we're able to literally, craft a whole new kind of world that is unlike anyone else out there. Because we know deep down inside of the core of our beings, as founders of the communities, what we stand for. Right? It's not to, as what we've been saying, going out there just to make a buck, to make a name for ourselves, to survive everything that we're doing. And John and I, we've been building all these different communities and teams and working on these projects for years now without anything to show for it, right? We're not taking salary. We're not earning our own commissions. We're not making money. Anything that would have been generated goes back directly into the business because we know that's how we grow. We know that's where the the intention is from day one. And so with that, we never lost track of that. And as we continue to grow, as you said, Yu, right? This is not a community just for anybody. You have to share in that same vision as us because if you don't, you will be the first person to U-turn, walk away because there's quote unquote nothing in it for you when in reality there is plenty in it for you, right? And so much more as long as we're willing to put in the time, effort, and energy together, knowing exactly what that brass ring is at the end of the rainbow. And once we have the patience, once we have the humbleness, and once we have the positive energy to move forward ahead, that is exactly what it is that we need to do to get there.
Okay, and with that, thank you very much, Simon and John, for sharing with us your heart, your vision, and the impact, the transformative impact that you would like to bring together with all of us at Summit Speaker Bureau to transform the lives of people and organizations all around the world. So, if you resonate with our mission, our vision, our values, follow us at Summit Speaker. It's right there at the bottom left. And then if you would like to engage in our services or find ways to collaborate with us, feel free to email us at speakerslive@summitspeakerbureau.com. It's speakerslive@summitspeakerbureau.com. So with that, thank you very much for all of you who are viewing here live with us right now or watching the replay. Thank you very much. We appreciate your attention and we hope to be able to work with you very closely soon and bring transformative speakers into your life and into your organizations. So remember to follow us and subscribe. We will be bringing you more transformative speakers every week, every Thursday, 9 p.m. On this channel. So see you next time.